The dust has finally settled here in Kingsland, wrapping up yet another insane KvK that I got to be a part of in Kingdom 1568. And not only did we have 4 insane days of Kingsland fighting up against fire and earth camp, but this was also my personal best performance in any KvK, pulling down over 1.1 billion kill points. So today we're going to go over all of the different armies that I used and tested out during this KvK. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on each of these different armies and sort of the insights that I've gained throughout this KvK, and of course I'll break down all the stats so that way you guys know which commanders got me the most kills. But before we jump into any of that, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I am a partnered creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you guys want more Rise of Kingdoms content, consider subscribing down below and clicking the thumbs up button. Okay, first things first, let's go over the allies for this KvK. Now, this was actually a surprisingly big KvK. Lots of different people were tuning in to watch, and I've seen other content creators covering this KvK as well. So shout out to everybody who showed off our KvK on live stream while I was being a degenerate in a Discord call with like pizza crumbs on my chest, just being the World of Warcraft fat nerd. That's me during KvK. So if you're wondering why I don't stream, it's not going to be very entertaining. Anyway, I'm in Kingdom 1568. We were in Water Camp with 1393 and 1228. Our allies were in Wind Camp, the largest of which being 2489 and 1824 and 1185. We went up against Fire, which was 1875, massive kingdom, by the way, and 32, and their allies were Earth Camp, which was 2774, 1698 and 3394. So basically it was the top 2 camps versus the bottom 2 camps, with us in Water Camp going up against 1875 in the first zone, and for the Altars of Darkness as well. So honestly, this was a pretty challenging KvK. I mean, we were going up against the strongest enemies from day one. But if you guys know anything about 1568, we're crazy. Like, we're actually insane people. Like, I'm not even saying that as a compliment. Like, we actually have a screw loose. Like, we're actually crazy individuals, and so we like a challenge. And you know, obviously we did our best to drain Fire Camp as much as we could in the first zone, but eventually of course they did push us back to our gates. I don't remember if we actually won any of the altars. I do know that I was there for the first one, and we did lose that altar. We kept it contested for a majority of the time. I think they got like maybe 30 or 45 minutes of the altar total, and then the next one was at like 2 a.m. or something, so I wasn't going to be there. And then the next one was when I was on vacation, so I missed all the other altars, so I assume we lost them, but I have no idea. Unfortunately, I was also still on vacation for past 7 opening, but I mean, it's past 7 opening. It's typically not that big of a deal, but going into Kingsland, I remember that I had about 14 million kills, so I knew that I had to really like go all out for the entirety of Kingsland if I wanted to at least reach my 30 million kills, because I was worried, what if it's a quick Kingsland? I mean, you never know. But as it turns out, it was one of the longest Kingsland fights I've ever been a part of. It was an insane time. I had a blast. Honestly, the 4th day I was starting to get a little bit antsy. I'm like, really, we're still going? Like, this is a little bit ridiculous. Okay, but all in all, everybody involved in this KvK was insane fighters all around, right? Like 2489, of course, great allies. 1875, putting it all on the line every single day, doing their best to fight back. 93 and 28, we fought alongside you guys in this little corner for so long, even when 1568 we got pushed back to our gate on the last day, and we still connected the territory. We still made it happen, because that's what 1568 does, baby. We could have 1 flag in Kingsland and 6 people who've been up for 30 hours already. They'll still be there. They'll still be there fighting. It's like I said, it's insane. Anyway, with all that being said, let's go over the stats here for the KvK. So as you can see, we have 1.3 trillion kill points gained in this KvK. Entirely insane. 67.8 billion T5 casualties. Overall, just unbelievable. An unbelievable KvK, and it was exhausting, to be honest with you guys. Taking a look at the performance breakdown by kingdom and by camp, we have, of course, in first place Kingdom 1875 with 377 billion kill points. Second place being 2489 with 323 billion kill points. Third place 1568, of course, 129 billion kill points. 74 coming in 4th place here with 89.5 billion kill points. And God bless everybody else on this list. I love you, but I'm not going to read all of them out. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I mean, it's a list. You guys can read the list. I mean, you know what I mean. Taking a look at the camp distribution of kill points, this bar graph is actually wrong. I don't know who labeled this, but Fire Camp, of course, coming in first place with 453 billion kill points. Second place being Wind Camp, not Water Camp. I mean, we'll take the credit, you know what I mean? We'll take the credit, but it wasn't us, of course. Okay, this is Wind Camp. It even says it right here, Wind Camp, 429 billion kill points. It's just mislabeled right here, unfortunately. Third place, Water Camp, 67 billion kill points, and then Earth Camp in fourth place. And honestly, considering we had to go up against the strongest enemies this KvK right at the start, I think this is a pretty good amount of kill points. Now, as far as my personal stats go, here we can see that I gained 1,150,000,000 kill points in this KvK alone, which put me at rank 369th. I think last time I checked I was rank 30 something in my kingdom, although now that we've had kill event for Mightiest Governor, I do know that some people have passed me because of kill event, even though that wasn't actually part of the KvK, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. The point is, I started KvK with about 92 million power. I am currently down to just under 78 million power. I did do a little bit of training during the Alliance mobilization event today, and I started this KvK with about 4 billion kill points. It was 4 billion like 50 million or something like that, and we're ending here at 5.2 billion kill points. So I am stoked about that, ladies and gentlemen. We broke the 5 billion kill point marker this KvK. It's about time. Omniarch finally got himself the 5 billion kill points. Okay, them T5 kill points dough, look at that. Damn, dude, almost the entirety of my kill points is T5. That's kind of insane. You ain't catching me T1 trading, that's for sure. Look at that. Anyway, let's take a look at my tech here. I did buy all the pop-up bundles for this KvK. I also purchased the crystal quest here. Okay, I think I got 35 by the time we were in Kingsland fighting. I don't remember exactly, and I think I bought like a $5 and a $10 from Mountain Warfare, but I didn't max purchase it. I never really buy the Mountain Warfares, and so that means that I never max my tech. So here we can see exactly what I was fighting with throughout this KvK. After the fighting ended, I did max a couple of the PvE things, but I didn't do anything to the PvP stats. So this is where we landed with War Tech 3. Keep in mind, I was on vacation for 8 days, so you know there was a severe lack of grinding that occurred during this KvK. All right, so this was literally what my war tech looked like. I think I got I got Swift Marching 3. I didn't have this much special medicines, unfortunately, during the Kingsland fighting. It was like 6 or 7 out of 10, unfortunately. That's just kind of where I landed. I had Call to Arms 2 at 9, Improve Morale at 6, but as you can see, rocking 5 marches. So if I was able to run 6 or 7, maybe I would have got more kill points here, but truthfully I don't have a 6th or 7th set of gear, or even maybe commanders to use there. So maybe you're one of those giga wells who thinks that 1.1 billion kill points is not a lot, but for me, running 5 armies, that was my best performance for KvK, which was really nice. With that being said, taking a look at my Hall of Heroes, we have 2,763,000 dead units. I always burn through my infantry, baby. They just get melted. Okay, they get melted. Some of these cav deaths were mainly from we had Amthala running those, him and Pizza running those cav rallies, baby, just clapping them. Subutai is a monster. He is just a demon. It's actually kind of insane. Cav rallies are in a good spot right now, I feel like, and they don't even have like another combo. I mean, it's just Attila with Subutai. Like, they don't have another combo commander. They don't even need one, right? It's kind of insane. But also, I did swarm down a couple of flags and things because 92 million, I was kind of feeling fat at the beginning of this KvK, so I did swarm some things down. I did get caught in some AoE, unfortunately. I did actually tap Achilles City by accident for like a good 3 seconds, which was a terrifying realization. Here you can see my resources spent. We have almost 10 billion. We have 9.5 billion food, 6.8 billion wood, 5.5 billion stone, and 4.7 billion gold. You'll see the unit deaths for the kingdom was insane, and you will also notice that my inventory, boys, my inventory looking a little bit dry over here, not gonna lie to you guys. Look at this, dude. Look at this, dude. 4.9 million. This is, I burned through my resources this KvK. It was actually kind of sad. Like, I was down to, there was one point where I didn't know if I'd be able to heal my hospitals, and luckily some alliance members came through for me, which was very nice. Shout out to Miss Melons and Meebo for the food. And for those of you that want to know the Autarch leaderboard here, these were my kill points. These were the death points, 8 million death points, and I had 217.8 million heal points as well. So lots of healing here. I feel like my kill to heal ratio was all right, especially considering how insane the enemies were this KvK. Okay, now that we got all the macro data out of the way, let's get into the weeds a little bit here and start to take a look at individual commanders and commander pairs, so that way you guys know which armies that I use help me get over over 1.1 billion kill points, ladies and gentlemen, starting off with my Liu Che. All right, Liu Che starting kill points 20 million, ending kill points we have 30.3 million for a total of 10.1 million kill points gained from Liu Che alone. Alexander the Great coming in second place here with a total of 7 million total kills. King Arthur coming in third place with 5.6 million kills. Huo just barely shy of that with a total of 5.6 million kills as well, short by 84,000. Crazy. Philip coming in fifth place here with 5.3 million kills. Ragnar, Scipio coming up next, tied for 5 million kills each, which is pretty nice. Then we have Zhuge, Hermann also coming in. Oh, actually technically they should be higher. Anyway, there we go, also 5 million kills. I must have I thought Kingsland was going to be over after day 3, so I put in all my stats. Then we fought for an entire other day, and then I had to come back in and put my stats in again, and it must have just slightly changed the math here. But anyway, then we've got Joan of Arc Prime here. She gave us 3.7 million kills. Then we have our boy Nevsky down here, 1.5 million kills, and in last place is William. I only took him off the bench very briefly before realizing that that didn't really make that much sense, and we'll talk about these commander pairs in just a moment. I was very happy with my King Arthur performance, but I didn't actually love the Arthur Philip pairing as much as I thought I would, so I'll talk about that in just a second. But if we break this down by troop type, you'll see that we got a grand total of 59.4 million kills, so almost doubled the 30 million kill achievement there, which is quite nice. Cavalry got a total of 16.8 million kills. Infantry got 27.2 million kills. Archers with 10 million kills, and our single leadership commander got us 5.3 million kills. So once again, taking a look at the starting kill points, ending kill points, autark stuff, we already covered all this. You guys already know that. So what do we learn here? All right, Liu Che Alex. I mean, the haters are gonna hate. I don't know what to say. This is a surprisingly polarizing March, right? They're the people that know, the people that have used it, the people that understand, okay, the believers, they get it, they've tried it, they see the numbers, they get it. And then there's other people that just hate on it because it's Alex. And look, I hear you, right? I remember when people tried to make Guan Alex a thing. That was a joke. I could not make that work. It was way too squishy. But Liu Che Alex just puts numbers on the board. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just an absolute demon on the open field. It's the fastest infantry pairing. Alex's instant proc and debuff is great. He gives Liu Che a ton of attack and defense points. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's a great commander pairing. It still holds up. It's actually kind of insane. For the altar, I did actually swap out the Alex for Philip. I ran Liu Che Philip in the altar, and that did perform very well. I would say that the Liu Che Philip is, I would say, neck and neck. It's weird because when I was only using one army, the Liu Che Philip was outperforming the Liu Che Alex, but in a 5-army murder ball, the Liu Che Alex was outperforming the Liu Che Philip. So that's good news, because what we learned is that if you have Liu Che Alex and you invest in Philip, it's safe to use him somewhere else. You don't have to use him on infantry. You can use him behind Arthur or behind Zhuge Liang, wherever you want to use that Philip. If you want to run Philip primary with Shajar secondary, you can use him there and still run Liu Che Alex and feel fine about that. But also that means that you don't have to feel like you're missing out on Alex, right? Like, let's say you're a relatively newer player and you feel like, oh my god, everyone's getting great reports with Alex. Do I really want to invest in a KvK2 commander? The answer is no, right? The answer is no. You should be getting Philip instead of Alex. Okay, run the Liu Che Philip. It's gonna do great. It's either gonna do as good or better, right? Like, that's just the numbers. It is what it is. So Liu Che Philip is 100% Omniarch approved. Not that you need my approval rating, but it's a beast of a March. But for me, the tried and true Liu Che Alex was the way to go. Just that extra little March speed on Alex, man, I love it. It's just, he's so fast. It's actually unbelievable. And these results were from me barely cheeseburgering, by the way. I know that there's lots of people who think Liu Che Alex is this godly March because it always trades positive when cheeseburgering, and that's true, but this KvK I actually barely did that and still they were still my best army. So I mean, I'm trusting the numbers on this one. Liu Che Alex dominance continues, and I'm here for it. Now my next best commander pairing was Huo with Arthur, and I know going into this KvK I told you guys that I was going to be trying to run Arthur primary, and I did do that for probably about 30% of the KvK, maybe a little bit more. But I found that well, first of all, the Huo Arthur combo, like if you're running one Cav March, that's it, and don't even think twice, it's god tier. Like, it is the single best Cav March in the game. It's probably not even close. The next closest thing is probably Nevsky Arthur, but yeah, it's actually just a beast of an army. And so when I would break these two up, I would actually feel bad about it, right? Because I knew that I had this like actual just menace on the battlefield that I was sort of nerfing by moving Arthur somewhere else, and that's kind of how I felt. But with that being said, I did run the Huo with Joan, which is still a good march, and then I was trying Arthur with other things, right? I was trying to do Arthur with Philip. I was trying to do, very briefly, I think it was Arthur with William. I think that's where some of the William kill points came from. And then what I tried to do is I did Huo Arthur with Joan William, tried that out for a bit. I also tried Huo Joan with Nevsky Arthur, did that for a while. What I found with that was it was better to actually run the Huo Arthur and Nevsky Joan, because the Nevsky just kept getting clapped and it was just a waste of my King Arthur, right? So that's kind of where I ended with that. The conclusion that I've come to here with Arthur is the Arthur Philip combo is good, but it's not as good as I thought it would be, and it might be because our enemies were so strong this KvK, but this is the squishiest march on the battlefield, and it's not even close. Like, it is insanely squishy. I am shocked that he has 20% health, because this thing pops almost immediately. Like, the second you're out of place, you thought Nevsky gets popped, brother, Arthur is he evaporates basically when you've got Philip behind him, because Philip isn't giving him anything besides attack and all damage, which is amazing for the DPS component, but this is the definition of a glass cannon, right? So the Arthur Philip combo is good, but I do want to caution you guys that, first of all, the better your delta or arch formation, the better, right? Obviously I don't have a super great formation here. That could be part of the reason why, although I do have a lot of cav defense here, a little bit of health. I mean, this could be it, right? A couple more stats in the tanky stuff here, and maybe I would have had a different experience. But at the end of the day, like, the kit on Philip for calves is just attack and march speed, and there's nothing here to mitigate any of the damage other than you have a 2-second 20% damage taken reduction, and that is just not up nearly enough to compensate for how squishy you are, unfortunately. So again, good march, and it's probably even better if you have like legendary delta armaments. But I do just want to caution you guys, if you run this, just beware. If you're out of position, you will get absolutely eviscerated immediately. And I also think more people are targeting calves now than ever, because they know Arthur is an absolute problem. Like, he hits so freaking hard, it's insane. Even with me moving my Arthur around and trying to find the best pair for him, he still was my third best commander, you know, performance in the game, right? Like, it is what it is. Arthur's a monster no matter kind of where you put him, right? But I personally, like, I really liked the Huo Arthur. Everything besides that felt squishy, right? The Huo Joan was fine, but Joan also has less stats than Arthur, less health than Arthur, so you're kind of nerfing your Huo there a little bit, and then your Arthur is you know, forced to be paired with somebody that's a little bit more squishy, right? So, and even if you wanted to go and do like the Arthur William, right, which I know a lot of people were doing that as well, there again, there's nothing tanky about this, right? There's all cav attack here, that's it. There's a little bit of all damage, and you get a 3-second defense bonus here whenever you cast an active skill. So there's that, get a little bit of that time to defense there, but you know, that's worse than, I would argue, the 2-second all damage taken reduction here, right? So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I'm really excited, honestly, for the next cav commander. Whatever the next cav commander is going to be, I suspect it's going to be a cavalry combo, right? And if King Arthur is performing this well with arguably commanders that aren't even like built for him, right? Like, I know as a secondary he's a skill damage commander, so you could argue that like Huo and Arthur are built to be together in that way, but I really feel like his true potential comes from the combo damage. And so I'm really excited to see, like, Arthur. I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what Arthur can do. I feel like a year from now we're going to be looking at whoever he's paired with and being like, wow, this is one of the best commander pairs in the entire game, unless they absolutely screw over the next cav release and give them, like, you know, a William Wallace or something like that. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But either way, I love Arthur. He performed as well as I thought he would. He just didn't perform as well as I thought he would with Philip. So that's my 2 cents on that. Again, don't rate in the comments. This is still a great commander pairing, okay? I need you to understand that. Great commander pair, just very squishy, very squishy. If you find yourself with an older device, if you find yourself with a slower internet connection, just kiss this march goodbye. Like, don't even, honestly, I wouldn't even try it. I would just stick to the Huo Arthur, and that would be it. Moving on to my next march, Zhuge Liang Hermann. Really, this is like probably my most consistent march besides the Liu Che Alex. Like, I don't have to think about it. There's never a point where I'm like, oh, I need to bench this. There's never a point where I'm like, oh, it's missing this, or it's not tanky enough, or it's not hitting hard enough. Like, no, this is the complete package when it comes to a commander pairing. It's double AoE. You've got tons of tanky stats, you've got the offensive stats, you've got the debuffs, you've got like it's the match made in heaven. Honestly, the only downside is it's a little bit slow, even with my iconic tier 5 boots over here. Okay, it is a little bit slow, but besides that, I have no complaints. It's circular AoE. Some people are saying that archers are, you know, they're so power crept, they're so far behind, they're so bad. They're not, right? Like, I don't know what KvKs you're in, but like, I'm pulling down some good numbers with this commander pairing. I could see that being the case if you're running 2 or more archers, right? Let me be clear. I think the archer performance falls off a cliff at that second march, right? But if you're only running 1 archer march, I feel like Zhuge Hermann can absolutely hang with the big boys. I do feel like it was targeted less this KvK than in previous KvKs because of calves. Really, like, calves dominate right now, or at least the Arthur dominates, and I feel like people want to take out that Arthur. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. I've absolutely no complaints about my archers. They're good, and you know, I'm honestly, I guess I'm kind of glad that I only run 1 archer march, because I feel like otherwise archers are having a rough time in open field PvP. Basically tied for them in kill points was Ragnar Scipio, which is a little bit surprising to me. I kind of felt that Ragnar Scipio should be performing much better than the Zhuge Hermann, but also I did run out of infantry at some point during Kingsland. Like, I literally had to train more tier 4 infantry, and so, you know, there were points where if I'm in a flag or something, then I'm only fielding 1 infantry march, and it wasn't Ragnar Scipio. So I know this kind of sounds like an excuse, but like, what I'm trying to say is Ragnar Scipio was benched more often than my Zhuge Hermann, and they still got the same number of kill points. So again, all in all, I have absolutely no complaints about this march. There's literally nothing wrong with it. I think that Ragnar is a little slow, but honestly, I don't understand. Like, there were lots of people, especially in like voice calls, saying how slow Ragnar is, but I'm not having that experience. I don't know if just maybe the rest of my armies are just so much slower that they all run the same. I don't know. I had no issues with my Ragnar Scipio. It's a double AoE, hits like a truck, tons of tanky stats, lots of offensive stats as well, and honestly, you are going to get this march speed drain pretty frequently. So I mean, you can make up for the march speed deficiency, but only when you're in combat, right? If a pass opens and you're walking to a you know, your first ever ball in that zone, yeah, Ragnar Scipio is going to be slower 100%, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. But overall, like, the damage output here was great. I have no complaints. I think this is a great march that I will probably continue to use, although who knows what's next for infantry. We could be seeing, I don't know when I'm recording this, we could even see a new infantry commander reveal before this video even goes up. If that's true, check back on the channel, see if there is one. Then we have to talk about Joan and Nevsky. Joan she had 3.7 million kills. So again, you know, in the scenarios where I was benching a cav march, it would be Joan, right? Like, I would run the Huo Arthur, and if I'm running, you know, if I've won march in a rally, for example, right, like, I'm throwing my Nevsky Joan in there, I'm throwing my Joan William in there, whatever the case might be, right? So that's part of the reason why Joan underperformed here. But also, this was like the KvK where I have been testing calves the most for me. Like, I was just moving around all these pairs, and no matter what I did, I would have 1 good march and then 1 squishy march, right? And that was kind of the frustration that I ran into with calves this KvK. They did, I mean, my second best performing troop type, right? Like, they performed great. It's just that second cav march just feels squishy no matter who it's with, and that's kind of the bummer. There was even a point where I was looking at Justinian. I was like, should I just, like, I have so many sculptures, like, should I just straight up max Justinian just to put like that 30% defense, 20% health, and 10% skill attack? Like, that's 50% of stats, a lot of which are tanky. Like, should I just slap him behind like Joan or something? Like, I was really trying to stretch it, but at the end of the day, I just settled on Huo Joan with Arthur Phillip and called it a day. And that leaves the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, boys, Nevsky. So I've been kind of saying this for a while now. It feels like a few months that I've been saying, like, hey, Nevsky is possibly not going to be a thing anymore. I've seen tremendous backlash from the community, and really all that means is that I'm kind of ahead of the curve here. I feel like this is an inevitability, whether people would like it or not, and I know that people don't like to hear me say that Nevsky is on his way out. I am also upset about that fact. I mean, like, I love my Nevsky, right? Like, let's see, we've got a decent amount of kills here, nothing crazy, but at the end of the day, my Nevsky was often on the short end of the stick. and just I don't know, I just hate the fact that he's a single target damage commander, which is also the case for Huo, but at least Huo has a faster rage cycle and just way more stats, right? He doesn't have as much skill damage bonus, but like he hits harder, right? He just hits harder, and so that kind of makes up for it. But I can imagine a future where Huo's in the same boat as Nevsky is in right now. It just feels like you need an AoE on that primary, and so who knows what's going to happen next, but I'm really excited for Arthur being combo because he is an AoE commander. And so whoever the next combo commander is, it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's single target or AoE, there's a good chance that Arthur's going to be the primary there, and that's really what we want, right? But my hope is that that next cav commander has some amount of defense stats on it, right? Defense, health, right? Or all damage taken reduction would be nice, or even like a normal damage taken reduction, because that would be reducing smite damage and combo damage as well, something along those lines to make Arthur a little tankier, and then you will officially have an absolute god tier March. And so I hope it happens, even if it's a single target damage commander. And then there's William, who was my worst performing commander, mainly because I just barely took him off the bench. Honestly, still usable, still solid. You can run him behind Arthur, you can run him behind Huo, you can do whatever you want with him. He's still fine. Just you know, he's definitely on his way out as well, in my opinion. One thing that you could run would be something like Huo Arthur and then Joan William. I tested this out for a bit. I thought the reports were fine. I actually thought they were a little bit better than Nevsky Joan, right? So that was the other thing. I was deciding between Huo Arthur, Nevsky Joan, or Huo Arthur with Joan William, and I feel like the Joan William did perform slightly better. Maybe that's because William just got a relic upgrade and it's double AoE, and there's still some nice buffing that you're doing here. No idea, but solid March, just again kind of squishy, right? Even more squishy than the Arthur Philip, and that's why ultimately I did end up going back to the Arthur Philip and running the Huo Joan. And also because this is my second set of cav armaments, and I feel like this is worse than my arch armaments for Arthur, right? So I felt like kind of stupid running this instead of the arch ones. I mean, I know you got like way more tanky stats here with the defense here, but like actually not even they have a similar amount of defense, more health here. So yeah, these are just better, I would say. And the last thing I want to touch on here is the Philip pairing. I recently made a video, it was actually a YouTube short, where I went over the top 10 best commanders in Rise of Kingdoms, and some people were really confused about Philip being number 9th on that list. A little spoiler if you missed that 53-second video, okay? And the reason for that is not because Philip himself is a bad commander, but it's because he doesn't really find himself in the top 3 best armies, right? Like if you're going to run one of each troop type, then you're going to run probably Liu Che with Ragnar or Liu Che with Scipio, right? Like that's going to be your single infantry pairing, and then you're going to run Zhuge with Hermann, and then you're going to run Huo with Arthur, and that's going to be it, right? So okay, does he find himself in your 4th army? Well, maybe if you're running infantry, then you would do Liu Che Philip and then Scipio Ragnar, right? And then the other 2 armies stay the same. So okay, he may find himself in the 4th army if you don't have William Wallace or Alexander the Great, and he could arguably be better than those 2, to be honest with you guys. But also the next infantry commander is coming out, and that might just put a nail in that coffin, right? Like that could be the best pairing. Like if we see another Smite infantry commander, the odds are that it's going to be paired with Liu Che, right? Like most likely. I can't imagine that not being the case. So even in the 2 infantry army lineup, you may not even see him 6 months from now, or 2 months from now even, right? So then you think about, okay, maybe the 2 army cav lineup, but I mean a lot of people already have Nevsky, right? So like the Nevsky Joan Huo Arthur, like that would be, I mean, not that that's better than the Philip alternative, but people already have that, right? They already have that. And so that's kind of where I'm like, you might not even run Philip in that scenario, and you can run him behind Zhuge Liang if you're going to move your Hermann Prime somewhere else. But my point is, right, that like we have to find a spot for Philip, and his advantage is that he's leadership, so you can put him anywhere, and that is a big advantage. But if you're only running 3 or 4 armies, you're probably not using Philip, right? And so that's why he had to come at number 9th on that list, because it's like he's not really a must-have commander, even though on paper every single thing he does is good except his active skills only for 2 seconds, which honestly I feel like that's not getting enough recognition. Like this is a super short buff, like very short. It's shockingly short, which makes me really not even care about it that much. Anyway, just wanted to throw in my 2 cents on Philip because this was my first KvK using him. He's great. He's a jack of all trades. You can throw him anywhere, and I'm happy that I got him from the swap event, because I feel like he's one of those commanders that we're going to be able to come back to in a year or 2 years or 3 years, and we're always going to have to think about like, okay, can we use Philip here? Like, is this possibly a Philip secondary scenario, right? He's got just universal everything. He's great. So I love Philip, and again, great behind Liu Che, but definitely not like the best commander in the game, right? Like, let's just be real. Anyway, guys, I want to congratulate everybody who was a part of this historic KvK. It was truly one for the books. Absolute giga chad performance from everybody involved. 89 is going to be the one taking the star here. They absolutely earned it, not only having the most kill points out of between our two camps, but also just their Kingsland performance was crazy, right? They were very, very active in Kingsland. They did what they needed to do. They were always there. They were fighting by our side. They were cutting the enemy near the top. So great performance all around. Of course, 1875, truly strong enemies here. I think lots of people thought they were going to win this KvK, and there were some moments in Kingsland where I also thought maybe they were going to win the KvK as well. It was very close at many points throughout Kingsland. So and I don't want to start naming off different kingdoms because I'm gonna leave someone out and I don't want them to feel bad, but genuinely, like, everybody here performed super well. I had a blast this KvK. Shout out to all of our allies, all of our enemies, and of course massive shout out to 1568. Like, the leadership in this kingdom is, I've been saying it for years now, right? I've been saying it for years, and there's a reason that you never see an oh my god Omniarch is migrating video, right? You don't see that because the leadership in Kingdom 1568 is great. We have a great time on voice calls, very sus, okay, very sussy voice calls, but at the end of the day, we know how to have a really solid uptime. We have different leaders in different time zones who are there pretty much at all times to cover different strategies and flagging and everything. So sleep deprived as they may be, the leadership is great in this kingdom. And so huge shout out to 1568, another really good performance, another KvK win in the books, ladies and gentlemen. And it's always nice to have a KvK without drama as well. That's just the icing on the cake with that one, baby. Huge respect to everybody involved in this KvK. And with that being said, guys, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, make sure you drop a thumbs up on it. Helps out the channel a ton. It helps get this video out into the YouTube algorithm so other Rise of Kingdoms players might see it. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell to be notified the next time I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. About 65% of you guys are actually not subscribed. You might think that you are, so just double check and comment down below your thoughts on this KvK. Did you watch any part of it either from your own device or from a streamer who covered it? Or what do you think about the different armies that I used in this KvK, and what do you think about my analysis of the different commander pairs? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I will talk to you guys again soon. Peace.